Annotations are dead. Long live end screens. Annotations, for those of you who don't know, are kind of like post-it notes that can be placed on YouTube videos, together with a link or writing. They weren't the most loved of features. The poor things. They had a bumpy and problematic life. Indeed, I was one of the first to poke fun of them way back in 2008 when they first came out. My old parody video predicted that they'd terrorise YouTube, filling it with annoying pop-ups and useless information. And to some extent, they were. And it'll be good that this will no longer be possible. But for all their many flaws, annotations could be used for good too. To correct videos where there were mistakes, without having to re-upload. To link to other relevant videos, or even to skip through the current one. Your imagination was the limit. With enough time and patience, you could have created interactive stories with these things, choose your path adventures, and so on. But very few people did, and it failed to catch on. I, however, found use for this interactive feature with my weapon showcase videos for CSGO. These display all of the user-made custom weapon finishes, one after another. You're not supposed to watch them through like you would with a normal video. That would be boring. Yet with annotations, within just 2 or 3 clicks, Philip, you could jump to the exact bit you wanted to see the weapon art that you were thinking of buying. Sort of like a computer game showcase in YouTube form. These videos evolved and improved with every one that I worked on. Until YouTube announced the removal of annotations. It was a sad moment for me, just partway through this project. But there was a silver lining. Any annotations already up would remain. This meant that if I could make the videos before May the 2nd, 2017, that the annotations would remain on these videos, hopefully forever. There was just one problem. In the year leading up to this, I had made 8 videos on the weapon cases. To complete the series, I had a month to make 38 more. Oh dear. Honestly, at the time I didn't really see myself managing it. But I'm the stubborn sort who would have always asked myself, what if I didn't try it? So I went for it. 38 videos. April was going to be a very long month for me. Creating any YouTube series takes time. They don't like to be rushed, and if you do, then you will make mistakes and will ruin your first batch of videos, when a simple test video could easily have pointed you in the right direction in the first place. Fortunately, my already completed 8 earlier videos helped with this. They showed me that this kind of video could work. They taught me obvious things like how to make this kind of video and so on. But I also learned some less apparent things. Initially I just wanted to showcase the skins in the highest possible quality, without narration. But apparently you guys really like me talking. The moment I stop, everybody clicks off it. Jokes aside, I learned that I needed to be saying something. But what? I cringe when I think of what it could have been. Yeah, this is a nice gun, it's got nice colours and was made by a nice person. This is nice. I like this nice bit here. Nobody wants that. I tried to do research into the weapons, their prices and so on, but it still didn't feel right. That sort of information goes out of date and is easy to find elsewhere if you look for it. And then it dawned on me. How about the stories behind the making of these skins? I began to try and make contact with the developers themselves to give them a chance to talk about their own designs. I didn't know how they'd react or how much there would be to say about this. I couldn't have predicted how well it turned out. I uncovered a very active community of clever, creative and friendly people who were happy to share their stories with me. I learned what got them into creating weapon skins, and went from being unable to make skins myself to, well, still not being able to make them, but I developed an understanding and respect for those who could, and learned just how much time, thought and love they'd invest into their own creations. From the money they made from getting theirs accepted, it enabled some of the younger artists to be able to afford to go to university and to pursue a dream career. Others collaborated with talented artists from other communities to bring their works into Counter-Strike. And some just enjoyed experimenting with patterns and couldn't believe it when their skins were accepted. All in all, I reached out to over 100 artists, from all walks of life. Google Translate helped a lot when speaking with some from Russia and Japan. Everybody had a story to tell, and knowing this just made me more determined to get the series finished before annotations were removed. Once you realise it's down to you, 2 things happen. You get the motivation to work as hard as you can, and you ask yourself why you didn't start on it sooner. I set myself a strict routine for every day to ensure that it got done in time. I had a few weeks left at this point, but had already left it too late. And so began Operation Make Lots of Weapon Skin Videos before the annotations are removed from YouTube. Problem is, owning each of the custom skins in CSGO would cost tens, if not hundreds of thousands of money. So although it only works in single player, I could change how they looked in game by editing Counter-Strike's files. I can't even begin to describe how long-winded and fiddly this is. I think I might have Stockholm Syndrome because this text file has become really interesting to me. I could talk about it for hours. I probably have more experience with this file than even Counter-Strike's makers do. That's probably not something to be proud of. Oh, and I don't recommend you do this, since the changes won't show up in multiplayer games and will automatically kick you until you change them back again. So don't do it. But armed with these custom weapon textures, it was time to film them. Welcome to the Black Room. It's a custom level for Counter-Strike that I made myself. Believe it or not, it's set outside. That's sunlight lighting up these weapons. Yet it's painted with a one-way dark interior to keep the background black for the sake of this showcase and consistency. It's here that my in-game character stood for hours, firing and reloading every single skin. How many? 515. Each takes about 5 minutes to capture, meaning that I spent the equivalent of a working week just simply getting the weapon footage. And I'm left with 42 hours of 4K content, which came to about a terabyte in size. For this. You see it? Look, it's all blurry. Normally you'd want to avoid blur, but this isn't the rubbish sort. This is genuine motion blur. If my weapon showcases look smooth, perhaps smoother than other 60 FPS videos do, then this is why. I capture it at 1/8 speed and then speed it up. The result is a 60 FPS video that looks more like 480 FPS. Thankfully my Ryzen was quite happy to do the hard work for me. I think that for about a week it was crunching 480 FPS 4K videos at once. It was actually bottlenecked by the speed of the hard drive, so I ended up having to split the work across 3 at once. On about day 4, having done nothing but film weapons in slow motion for 3 days, I needed a rest and casually booted up Half-Life 2 as my PC continued working in the background. I can't elaborate how nice this little break felt. This here is a level from about halfway through episode 2, set in an abandoned quarry. It plays a bit like a labyrinth. This was only the 3rd time I had played through this bit of the game, even though it's probably my favourite section from any Half-Life game, ever. I don't know why, I just like it. You have Alex sniping zombies from up above, and it ends with an awesome collapsing bridge set piece. It was at this point that my videos had rendered, and so I returned to work. But I will forever remember that temporary respite from Operation Make Lots of Weapon Skin videos before the annotation is removed from YouTube. I stuck to my rigorous routine of work, day in, day out, like a good boy. And as always happens, I woke at 7 AM on the last day and realised that I was a day behind. How was this? Well, it turns out that going to bed a little later every day meant that over the course of 2 weeks, I had lost a day. I was getting up almost 24 hours late, at 7 AM the following day. Classic Philip. And now I had a day to get 2 full days worth of work done before YouTube removed annotations. And there were still 5 videos to finalise, as well as 5 that I hadn't even started on. The clock was ticking, and I got to work on 5 videos at once. Doing things in bulk makes even the easy bits of making a video into huge challenges. 5 scripts amount to over 9,000 words, which means an hour and a half of narration. I even had to take a break halfway through. I never have to take a break normally. What I'd have given for a second Clicks Philip to help me with this task. And I don't say that lightly. All the while, I made sure I kept my PC busy too. Pretty much whenever I found a mistake in a finished video, I'd fix it and render it again in the background. It wasn't anywhere near as intensive as earlier. My Ryzen was only rendering 1 or 2 4K videos at any given time. I'd casually allocate a handful of threads for each task so that it didn't interfere with what I was working on in the slightest. So late in the project, a power cut or hard drive failure becomes your worst fear and would have spelt the end for me. But fortunately, didn't happen. As it approached midnight, I cut my losses and aimed to get 6 videos done perfectly rather than have all 10 rushed and with mistakes in. But you see, I had a secret up my sleeve. YouTube doesn't operate on UK time. In the past it's been about 8 hours behind. And sure enough, midnight came and went and I was still able to edit annotations on YouTube. But the safe period was over. Any moment they could cut the feature and all half-finished work on these videos would have been for nothing. I carried on working as the sun rose. By about 8 AM I had 8 of the videos finished and up to a standard that I was happy with. Having been up for a solid 25 hours, I thought I'd be getting tired, but was feeling more awake than ever, which kind of helped. After this, I resorted to an even more desperate state. I would upload the last 2 videos at the soonest possible opportunity, even if I knew they had mistakes in. Whilst this was happening, I'd fix them and re-render them with the aim of uploading them later, but I wasn't taking any chances. I knew I was on borrowed time and ensured that at any given moment I'd have copies of these videos already up on YouTube with fully working annotations. Finally, at about 3 in the afternoon and 32 hours of solid work since I'd gotten up the previous day, a day late, YouTube carried through on their ominous promise and the annotations feature was no more. I'd gotten none of the 10 videos done, with the 10th being the revolver case, which was complete but with a few superficial fade-in, fade-out issues that nobody else would care about, but which would haunt me to the grave. If only I'd had a few more minutes. If only we had opted for that faster broadband package. If only I'd gotten up a little earlier on the day after to do the day before's work the day after I should have. I jest. It went better than I could have hoped for. I closed down the hundreds of things I had open for this project for the final time, and I emerged from my cave a free man, and had a triumphant walk to Audi. Still didn't feel tired. Maybe I'd broken my body. Maybe I'd never need sleep again. Then when I got home I slept for 15 hours. You can't cheat sleep. And to boot, I now have a number of these videos still to release to YouTube. Thank you to all of the Skins devs for sharing their stories with me. I hope I haven't pronounced any names or words incorrectly. I mean, Cyrex. Is it Cyrex or Cyrex? Who knows? Since the deadline, I've been too scared to watch the videos myself in case there are any mistakes. So instead I'll just keep releasing them on this channel. If nothing else, then I hope they're entertaining and informative, and you can watch them knowing that they were among the last videos on YouTube ever to have annotations added to them. I know that we got off on the wrong foot, but I'll miss the annotations feature. It has enabled me to create an interactive archive of all of the custom weapon finishes included in Counter-Strike. Apart from that new case that Valve released 2 days ago. Thanks, Valve. And thanks also to AMD for providing me with a Ryzen 7 series processor. It really did handle whatever I threw at it during Operation Make Lots of Weapon Skin videos before the annotations are removed from YouTube, even with 4 4K renders going on in the background. Next time, 8K? 5 4K renders? What about 960 FPS? So many possibilities.